Alright, time now is 10:39 a.m. on June 22nd. Um, yeah, um, what's it called? I slept from 4:25 to 10 a.m. and then I went back to sleep until 10:30. Um, um, yeah, and I didn't immediately fall asleep, but it didn't take me like forever to fall asleep. Um, so yeah, fuck. Um, it's so cold. So, today I'm going back to CMD to, transfer files with Tova, and that's it. This is my first human interaction since 3 days ago, or maybe 4 days ago, with Birkin's rap party, quote unquote rap party. It's my first in person human interaction. Um, so, that's good. And it's going to be a good one because in Birkin's rap party, I couldn't really speak to anyone for real. Uh, yeah, and chances are, Leslie will be there at CMD today, which is gonna be pretty emotionally tough for me. If I do see her, I'll just say, hey, see you on June 30th, and just leave. And then on June 30th, it's a goodbye for real. And a fitting goodbye to end off our relationship with 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a pretty poignant ending, I must say. Pretty poignant. Um, yeah. I don't know. When I go to bed, I always think of her. But nowadays, for the last 2 days, when I try to fall asleep, I try to think of something else. And it's really tough trying to focus on other things other than her. And then I would have dreams, and thankfully I didn't dream about her this morning. I dreamed about my cousins and my dad, and we were sort of in Hong Kong, I guess, or in some city, and something about sharks, shark fins, about becoming sharks, and then I had two boiled eggs in my backpack. One of them was marinated in tea leaves and tastes very salty. And it's supposed to be lunch. Uh, I don't know. Um, but then this morning I wake up and I feel empty again. It's just, I think it's two feelings mainly. One is emptiness because I can't imagine a world without her. And the other is powerlessness because I realize that I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do to help the situation, and the only thing I can do is to just endure it and move on. And these are the two feelings I feel the most. But yeah, emptiness, definitely just. And also, again, it sucks that it's just summer holiday, so it's extra empty. Because there's nothing to do. There are things to do, but no longer have anything to do with Film 33. No longer have anything to do with her. Um, it's just regular things. Um, so a woman texted me like 3 nights ago um, about working on a seasonal club short film, whatever that means. And that's the and the woman said Ariel gave her my number. And that woman asked me if I'm available between June 22nd to 25th. I said I'm available on the 23rd, which is tomorrow, Friday. But I haven't received any texts yet, so I'm assuming that I'm not needed. So I guess I won't be going to any of those film sets. And besides, I think it's unhealthy to go to another film set when Film 33 just ended like 2.5 weeks ago. It's kind of traumatic. I still need to process that. Yeah, and um, yeah, um, oh my god, it's so cold. What the fuck? But I'm definitely excited for the Knock Donkey No Horse film set. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have things to do. I gotta work on my driver's license. IEC is still not responding to me. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Another thing is, last night I finally found out about the whole tax form thing that international students have to fill, and the deadline is June 15th. And today is June 22nd, so I'm a whole week late. I don't know if I'm gonna get arrested for this shit, but hopefully not. I gotta start working on moving. Also, important, picking a new phone so that my mom can buy it in Hong Kong and give it to me, or maybe I can buy it here. I don't know. I'll do some research. I have no motivation to do any of these new things right now, but I just got to do it, you know. But yeah, today I'm going back to CMD, the core of all the poison, and it's gonna be tough. And hopefully it's the last time I go to CMD until a long, long time later. Hopefully it's the last time, and I don't know what to eat for lunch. I think I'll eat every table shit one last time, and then I'm gone. So yeah, Tova's already there. Tova texted me at 9:30 a.m. saying that she's already there. So yeah, damn. Okay. Here we go. My final time here. Shit. Fuck. From this. Okay. Imagine if he just turns around. Fuck.
He's still on his phone. He's on his phone.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Fuck. Fuck. We know him too well. Time now is 7:17 p.m. Just came back home. Normally, I try to, take a rest and everything first before I talk to my phone. But again, I really seriously need some talking and counseling. I'm going to talk a little bit now because I don't have a lot of storage space left, and I also need to wipe up my laptop and hard drive and everything. But I saw her for half a second, and we locked eyes for half a second. I hate that it's all like fucking gone back to square one. Like, oh, we locked eyes. At some point, it was like I can just talk to her whenever, whatever I want. Yeah, yeah. I'll talk later. All right, so it's 9:43 p.m. I'm gonna go cook myself dinner right now. Except my roommate is outside. I don't know which one, but someone's outside. So I guess I'm not gonna cook. So instead, I'm gonna talk. Yeah, I haven't cried today. I think that's a bit of a breakthrough, unless I cry later tonight. But I haven't cried today. That's a breakthrough. So let's talk about what happened today. First of all, yeah, finally human interaction. Quite great. I arrived at CMD, and it's gonna be the last time I'm going until a long time later. And and yeah. I arrived, and Tova arrived at around 9:40 something a.m. Obviously, given that I went to bed at 4 something a.m., I couldn't wake up that early, so I woke up at 10, and it took me like 40 minutes to finish 2 pieces of cookie and to settle down, and it took me another while to arrive. So by the time I arrived at CMD, it was 11:40, but she's like, oh, it's no problem. Like, she's just spending a lot of time in the computer lab downloading stuff from her Google Drive to her SD card. Um anyways, I arrived, and it's really quiet. Turns out a lot of people aren't even in CMD. A lot of people who are supposed to be in CMD aren't in CMD. Like Cliff and surprisingly neither Drew or Leslie are here. And at that point, Kuchu and Benny weren't here, but they randomly showed up at some point. Yeah, I saw Tova in the computer lab, and it was very quiet. I've actually never really used a computer in a computer lab before, but sat down, talked a little, and then because it's a kind of a very quiet spot, we moved to outside the computer lab, a little sitting area somewhere near the spot where I and Leslie wrote Breathless together, somewhere at the side. And we just sat down there, and we just spent the rest of the day there until like 7 p.m. Yeah. And then I started like opening my laptop, and I started like transferring her files to mine, and I transferred my files, some of my videos to hers, which I actually forgot to do. I transported it into a folder, and I was going to directly copy the entire folder to her SD card, but I forgot to do that last step. So now I still haven't given her anything. And I respect her a lot, but her organizational skills aren't great, so a lot of the folders that she made in her SD card are a mess. Some of the folders have nothing in it, some of the folders have some things in it. It's a mixture of photos and videos from all different places, all different sources, all different dates, and it's all mixed up together like a mess. Some videos are duplicated. Whatever, I'll organize it myself, but it took me a while to find out where things are. But there are still like videos that he has in the Google Drive that's somehow not in the SD card, and it's kind of a mess. At some point we heard noises outside, and we were both so paranoid. We immediately like went out to the ledge to see, to see who is it, and at some point Rustem came, Rustem the Kazakh, and she immediately noticed, like, oh my god, is that Rustem? And I looked, and it's him. So Rustem, Leslie, and another person were putting down some filming equipment and moving them into the auditorium, and my heart sank a little bit when I saw Leslie. I think it's the first time I saw her since the editing bay incident. And yeah, I don't know. I also told Tova what happened. Essentially, I quote unquote broke up with her, and I've been feeling really bad, and I really needed to go outside. And maybe she will understand, maybe she won't, but I just had to tell someone, like, it's fuck it, you know. But yeah, at some point we're both really hungry around 2 p.m., so we went down to every table to grab some food. She paid for me, but she said, oh no, it's cheap, it's fine. Yeah, I got Calixico chicken salad, the same salad I had, and it tastes fine. And then to wash it down, I had iced mocha in the vending machine. So that's that, not bad. And then I realized I forgot eating utensils, and then I went back down again to grab eating utensils, and then I purposefully walked. So there are two ways to re-enter the building. One is the office side, and the other side is the soundstage side. I purposely walked towards the soundstage side to see if I could run into Leslie, you know, just because, to make my heart sink even more. And I think I did run into her. She showed up. She was there. She and I locked eyes for like half a second, and then she moved on. I moved on, and that's pretty much it. I don't know what she's thinking. It doesn't matter either. Maybe she hates me now. Maybe it's because I tried to screen record her private photo on WhatsApp, and she found out and she's pissed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something else. It's probably something else. Maybe she's not pissed, she's just like kind of turned off by how dramatic I am. But either way, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter what she thinks of me. It doesn't matter anymore. So I just kept on going. I took the elevator, went back up, continued to transport files, continued to talk with Tova, and both surprisingly and unsurprisingly, Tova really gets me, even though she's not going through like a breakup or anything. She also felt really bad because apparently she failed her math statistics class for Math 54, and because of that, maybe UC Santa Cruz will deny her admission, and if so, she will have to take one more semester here in the college just for the same math class, and just for one class, and it's online. And that's really upsetting. And plus the Film 33 stress, like the post 33 stress. She also cried a lot in the last few days, so I'm not the only one emotionally struggling. And just like me, she needed to go out there and walk. And because she lives in Long Beach, there's a beach, so she would walk to the beach. I went to Westwood yesterday to buy myself boba. It was the right choice. I don't like talking to people about love life, but I told Tova, like, I've never dated anyone. And when I saw Leslie, I thought she would be the one. And all this time and effort that I spent on her, all gone. It's just a very terrible feeling. And she's like, wow, you're like a hopeless romantic. And I don't really know what it really means, but it sounds like it. It sounds like I am a hopeless romantic. The word hopeless and romantic put together sounds like me. So, yes, I am a hopeless romantic. Like that silly Cupid song, the 50-50 Cupid song. And then, yeah, we continued to transfer files, and at some point I heard Leslie saying goodbye to people, see you soon, or see you, and door creaks, footsteps. Okay, she's gone. And we continue transferring files, and that is when suddenly, randomly, out of nowhere, and while transferring files, both I and Tova were like looking around. We're paranoid the whole time, and we all thought, oh my god, what if Crucio shows up? At some point, Crucio did actually show up in the elevator shaft. It's always the fucking elevator, not the shaft, the elevator, the second floor elevator. Crucio and Benny just walks out of there, and I immediately like hid. But they walked out of there, and right off the bat, Crucio looked in our general direction. And because I had a haircut, he probably didn't recognize me. But apparently, Crucio did lock eyes with Tova for like a split second, and Benny just didn't notice us at all. So, I don't know. Hopefully, Crucio isn't as bright. And also, what the fuck is Benny doing here? Benny's really like getting it on, like really getting it on with the project, climbing the ladder even after the wrap. It's crazy. And Crucio and both I and Tova were like shocked when Crucio showed up. And then we saw Crucio and Benny below us, essentially, because we're on the second floor and they're on the first floor outside. So we look out the window and it's them, and I and Tova ducked onto the ground for dramatic purposes. And we saw Benny sort of like, Benny went to the editing bay, and then Crucio and Drew spoke a little bit, and then Drew walked away. So Drew showed up, and then Crucio was on his phone for a while, and turns out he's posting Instagram stories. And one of the Instagram stories is basically Benny's face. And I don't know why, but in the photo, Benny looks like a plastic doll. He doesn't look real. And he's like, thank you, Benny, say, last name, who is a UPM / co-producer. So now he's a co-producer too. Wow, great. Yeah, and essentially, like, it's a wrap. So Benny really climbed the fucking ladder on that one. And then after that, we sort of freaked out a little bit. Tova's like, oh, we need to leave. But I still haven't finished transferring the files, so I quickly finished transferring some of the files, and then we basically left. And before we left, Tova wanted to like scare Benny a little bit, so Tova tore a piece of paper from like a notebook, or like just a paper thing, I don't know, and wrote Tova and Enoch were here, June 22nd, 2023. But instead of Enoch, I told her to write the detective. And then we're like, okay, let's talk about interviews, because we want to interview people for the doc. And she immediately called Leia. Nobody picked up. And she texted Leia. She's never texted Leia before. And I'm like, is this a great idea? Like, how about Instagram DMs? And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, don't worry. So she texted Leia, and Leia at some point responded and said, yes, I'm down for an interview. And that was really shocking. Tova rejoiced. I'm too sad to rejoice, but great, sounds great. And Tova's like, oh, we're on a roll. You should DM someone. So I DM'd to Liam, and Liam like immediately responded saying, calling me, straight up calling me on Instagram. And I said, oh, I'm at CMD right now, not a very safe place. Can I call later? And he's like, okay. So after pulling the little paper prank on Benny, and we slid that paper on his truck window, I and Tova went to like the side of the campus to essentially talk to Liam. So I called up Liam, and Liam's like, oh yeah, I'm down for a call. And of course, when I called Liam, Jaden's also there, another girl's voice also there, probably Trinity, and they're all down for interviews. That's crazy. And then Tova's like, oh, how about Jonathan? So Tova DM'd Jonathan, and I DM'd Red. And I got persuasive. I'm like, oh, this interview, first of all, this is completely separate from the college, so you can be honest, and also multiple other people have agreed to do interviews, and also it won't go public unless you wish it to, which of course they eventually will, so it will go public. But even if it does, it won't go public until like years later when we're all done with college, so it won't affect us. And yeah, something like that. And Red said, yes, I'm down. And it's crazy. And the only person who isn't down and is thinking about it is Jonathan. And I said, oh, I wish we could persuade him a little harder, because Jonathan does have a lot to say about the project. So yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy that I and Tova basically started a resurgence movement, because we're film students. We use film to fight film. If we can use the power of cinema to fight against Crucio's authoritarian dictatorship that is his cinema, we are the counter movements. We are the revolutionaries. So it's quite exciting. But then again, I'm also really sad right now, and maybe my sadness is clouding my judgment, but I think this is the right thing to do. And then Tova drove me home, and it's end of story. And here I am. Honestly, I feel less bad today, way less, thanks to my interaction with Tova. And even seeing Leslie in person did not really crush me or anything. I think a lot of people go through like denial and then bargaining. I think I went through those two stages already. Like, I think by the end of Ends and Means, I think the moment I start to really realize that she isn't interested in me is, I think, a couple days after the editing bay incident. I was still denying it. I was like, okay, there's no way she doesn't love me. Like, she wanted to speak to me in Torrance. Like, she said she wanted to date someone, and she said she likes me 80% and all this stuff. And, she likes having high quality conversations with me. Like, all these like little symptoms of her liking me, like little clues. And then I bargained. I was like, okay, just please love me. Like, maybe I can do something for her. Maybe I'll buy her a gift. Maybe I'll be cool in front of her. Maybe we'll somehow make it more compatible. I'll fix this relationship. I'll hang out with her more. I'll call her. The call is part of the bargaining, right? And then what's that? What's next? Depression? Anger? I think it was anger. I'm not really angry. And the depression phase is very much still going to happen, but soon I will arrive at acceptance, and that's all I need. But I'm still very much at the depression phase, let's be honest here. This is really sad, and it's still suffocating me. Maybe I'll cry later tonight, and if so, that's okay. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, again, like, I'm super dramatic, and I showed Tova some of the footage of me, Leslie, and Cliff at the Academy Museum, and I told her how innocent we all were, all three of us. I was just friendly guy from Hong Kong who likes cinema. Cliff was just came from Malaysia, and loves to color stuff and edit. Leslie has been in LA for a while, but or has been in California for a while, but she's new to this. She's doing weekend movie nights, and she's also trying to go out and meet people. And all three of us had no idea what was going to hit us. All three of us had no idea. We were so innocent back then, and there's just something so like poignant and so like just mind bending about how much has changed, how much this film program has broken us, and sort of like set us off onto completely different trajectories and like fuck us up and stuff. And Tova's like, yeah, I get it. And we looked at some of the earlier footage of the semester, and even so, like some of the earliest footage of the semester back in early March, like, we all look so happy. We all look so friendly with each other. And who would have thought that it would end this way? That we would end up killing each other, we would end up fighting each other, and it's going to be a bloody power struggle. Nobody thought it would be like that. We were so naive. We were so innocent. And Tova saw that too. Maybe it's because we're both film people, but actually it's because this is reality. A film program fucks you up, breaks relationships, and transforms people. Yeah. I really don't know what's happening outside. I really want to go out and steam some rice, make some rice. Yeah, finally, IEC responded to me with an email saying, yes, we have received your resume. We will consider you when we are looking for help. So that's ominous. That means like nothing. I thought they need help like right now. But I guess not. So I guess I'll just be hopelessly waiting. But yeah, in the meantime, the short film thing that Ariel referred me to, they didn't say anything to me. So this means tomorrow I get to hang out with Potter, which is great because I desperately need to talk about this to someone. And I did talk to Tova a little bit about this, but I feel like when it comes to touchy-feely personal feelings, it's best to express it to someone like Potter, and in Cantonese this time. And I know he's a bit of a brother, so he will understand that. Thomas also called me a little bit for about 11 minutes and told me about, confirming that I will go to his place on Saturday to do the podcast, and then also talk to me about like transferring. He said he may stay for 2 more semesters in the same college because he doesn't want to go to CSUN. He's too broke to attend NYU, Columbia University, or LMU, and he thinks CSUN is trash and he doesn't want to go to CSUN. So he's gonna take 2 more semesters and then maybe hopefully transfer to Santa Barbara or UC Irvine. And I said, I'm no expert in this. You should talk to a counselor. That's it. It's so funny how when I started my journey here, I thought Thomas would be like, I would abandon him in an instance. And that's true. I did abandon him in an instance. Like I was just like merely tagging along, dragging along throughout the last 1.5 years with him. But he's still here. I came and went with Pepper. I came and went with Leslie. And Thomas has always been there. And that's pretty fucking funny. So yeah, that's today. I'll have dinner and let's see how I feel. All right, time now is 12:27. After midnight. I had a good meal. Apple pear soup. I thought the taste would be diluted, but I'm wrong. Actually, it's even sweeter than a couple nights ago for some reason. Even though I added more water because a lot of water evaporated, and it's still extremely sweet. I think it's all the dates that made it sweet. But it's still a good ass soup. I enjoy drinking it. Yeah, not bad for a first soup. First soup, not bad for a first soup. Yeah, and with rice, with mackerel, and with big bok choy, fried with garlic. I think this is like a actual meal. For the first time in like 4 or 5 days, I have motivation to like actually for real cook again. And yeah, yeah, for the first time I have the motivation to do things now. Like I just filled in the Google form. Like before the dinner, I filled in the Google form to PA on Not Donkey Nor Horse. And then I also emailed USC admissions about my USC stuff, about orientation, about whatever, about my Duolingo English test. I just have a lot of questions. And I feel perhaps a slight motivation to look at housing a little later, like just go through some like apartments around the USC area, around West LA, and perhaps I have the motivation to look at the smartphones, the next smartphone I'm going to use, because this one is about to die very soon. I feel like of course, I. That being said, it's not like I feel fine and dandy now, and like all the problems are solved or whatever. Like, no, I still feel really empty. Like after I came back home from CMD today, I sat down on my chair. I still feel a sense of dread, and it's that the moment the distraction is gone, I have to still face this pain, this reality that is so dull and boring, and to live in a world without her, which is still a very scary thought. I think the scariest thought out of all the thoughts is that after her, I can't see myself falling in love with another person. Or at least it'll take me a lot of time to find another person. And also, I'll never find someone like her again. It's just the future of my love life. It's just, I don't know. I hope that the next time I love a girl, though, I can manage to riz her up to the point where she has to confess to me first before I confess to her. Yeah, let's hope for that result. But still, that I think is the most terrifying thought. And of course, the second most terrifying is just really about the could haves and the would haves. Um, it still hurts. I was thinking about honor, cause I call myself the detective still, and I will call myself the detective for basically the rest of my life. And part of the reason why I do that is because I want to honor Mary, because Mary is the person, technically Mary and Bernice, but I always remember it as Mary. Mary is the person who called me the detective. And even though I'm not in love with her anymore, by calling myself the detective, I'm essentially honoring her. And it's just out of respect. And for a while, I thought to myself, just the last couple of hours, when I was cooking, when I was eating, when I was cleaning the dishes, I was thinking to myself what I can do to honor Leslie. I don't know, learn Mandarin, be gay, dye my hair, smoke and drink, and be a bitch to everyone else around me, open a C stand. And then I realized that I should think simpler. Live. And more specifically, live healthily. And this is different. By calling myself the detective, I'm honoring Mary by supporting what she had done to me. By living a healthy life, eating good, sleeping good, working out, self improvement, I am actively defying against what Leslie had done to herself because she is so unhealthy. I want to be healthy for her so that I can prove to her that my will to live is just as strong as my love. And also, just to remind her that she needs to live because I'm living for her. So every moment I'm alive and well and healthy, I'm honoring her. And it's much more intense of an honor than to simply calling myself the detective. But I think yeah, I think just it, it matches with how intense my love for her was and is still, I guess. Um, oh no. Next thing I'm gonna do later is I'm actually gonna prepare a list of questions and like things I have to say to Leslie on the day of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And after all those questions are answered and after all those things are said to her, I'm basically done. I don't have to say anything more to her. And those questions are anywhere from why do you keep calling me homophobic, like on set and also before set? Is it because you think I'm deep in my heart bisexual, but I'm refusing to recognize it? I'm straight. I'm just not masculine. That's all. And another question was about when you told Tyler that you wanted to date someone, were you being serious? But I think that's like a moot question, because I think she wants to date, but she probably knows that she can't, because she literally is incapable of dating, literally, because she's so busy with everything and she has so little care about human interactions. And third of all, I wanted to ask her, when she said she likes me 80%, was it a lie? I hope it isn't a lie, because 80% is pretty high. And if it's a lie, oh well, it lived up. And yeah, and then of course I'll have to say things like, you know, before you go, can you promise me 2 things? Okay, we can still stay being friends, but for the next few weeks or so, I cannot speak to you or see you. So promise me 2 things. One is take care of yourself, eat good, sleep good, be healthy. And number 2 is remember me. And don't ever forget about me forever. And then that's it. And then I'll probably be crying at that moment, and she'll probably be calling an Uber or something. And as she walks towards her Uber, I'll just look at her with tears in my eyes, and she'll look back, and it's like a fucking scene in a Wong Kar-wai film. And then there she goes, and then I'll never see her for a while. And then of course next semester will happen, and then hopefully by then I would have moved on. It's tough because usually move-ons take half a year, but hopefully by then I would have moved on, and I would probably treat her as a friend, joke around a little bit, not care as much. Yeah, but that's for the future. I spoke with Michelle quite a bit during dinner. It's day 2 or day 3 in her trip in London. She hasn't been to British Museum, but she's gonna have a walk around Kensington Palace. Kennington? Buckingham Palace. She was thrown off by the date system there, and she's also thrown off by a bunch of kids in school uniforms. I'm used to school uniforms. I used to wear them because I'm not American. So it's interesting. I also told her a lot about just the call with Leslie. And Michelle said, you both are pretty fucked up. And I feel sad for her. I told Michelle about how Leslie just doesn't have any human interactions. Like, Leslie doesn't even talk to her parents at all. But yeah, again, about dehumanizing her and turning her into a mythology and calling her a monster, I think it's really fitting for her. And yeah, I think she is a monster. And it's funny because like I called Mary like the goddess of the sea. She is the ocean. And I can call her that because I'll never see her ever again in my life, anyways. I'll never talk to her ever again in my life, anyways. So it's like, might as well dehumanize her. But the thing with Leslie is that I'll see her again next semester. And then maybe after that, I'll never see her again for the rest of my life, which is sad, but it's true. And yeah, just yeah, just yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll still keep calling her a monster. I like the idea that I would constantly refer to Mary as like the goddess of the ocean, and she'll be less and less real and humane and human as I recall her. But I also have her Instagram, and she also follows me, and she looks at my stories, I look at hers, so she's like real, but also not, and that's kind of cool. So I would like that for Leslie too. Yeah, it still hurts, but I'll hang on. Yeah, and I'm seeing Potter tomorrow, so I can talk to him extensively about this. Um, Talking about it hurts, but also it's good to actually talk to someone about it, ease the pain, you know. Yeah. All right, time now is 11:16 a.m. on June 23rd. Yeah, so I slept from 4:50 to 10:30, and I did a little re-sleep. I went back to sleep a little bit after I brushed my teeth. Slept smoothly. Didn't take long for me to fall asleep. Didn't wake up in the middle. Was all right. Wish I could go to sleep earlier though. I feel tired as hell. So, yeah, today, I'm going to, mainly do two things. Just one actually, and that is, I'm going to see Potter in Century City at 2 p.m. We're gonna meet up, have lunch together, and then, we'll talk, and that's it. Um, yeah, um, fuck. Uh, yeah, it's great that I would be able to find someone to talk to, for real, in depth, and you know, speak to people, distract myself, go outside. So yeah, yesterday I didn't cry at all. I thought I would cry like before bed or anything, but nope, did not. But I do feel a strong sense of melancholy and emptiness still. You know, I woke up today and I feel the same thing. Melancholy, just emptiness, just like I don't know what to do with life now, you know? Um, just round one of my life here in USA is just very concentrated because my new life only has begun, and I'm only focusing on things like survival, um, and like moving and shit like that. Round two was when like I started to climb up the ladder and I know a lot more people, and it gets more and more crazy, with Pepper, Asian World Film Festival, Alba short film, the feature film, the freaking all that stuff. And then round three is solely, I think 95% of round three is just Film 33 and Leslie. And so to have all these things suddenly end, it's like I don't know what to do anymore. Like I have no idea how to live. Um, but I guess I should get used to this kind of living. Like plotlessly, you know, not plotlessly. It's just every single day, especially in April and May, especially in May, you know, round three started off really boring. Actually, like February was boring as fuck. Like nothing happened to me in February, and then March was sort of okay. But like after spring break, uh, up till like literally 2 weeks ago, every single day something crazy happens. Um, and it's all Film 33 related or Leslie related, and it's just my life has been so like exciting and full of ups and downs, and it's such a roller coaster. But actually, it isn't like that. It isn't supposed to be like that, anyways. You know, back in 2020 and 2021, the void years, I lived with no purpose. I just live, eat food, sleep, play Minecraft, listen to music, watch movies, do exercises, and just live blankly. And sure, I won't live as blankly next semester because I still have friends. I got Cliff, I got Michelle. Hanging out with them is gonna be a little tougher, but I still got them. Um, but and yeah, you know, I still go back to CMD. I still see people, see things. Um, and if I do get a job at IEC, you know, I'll still meet people and expand. So it's not the absolute end of the freaking world and a complete restart. Um, even though it feels like it. Um, but yeah, it is. That's life, you know, and I gotta just get used to that. Yeah. Again, the idea that I don't know when will I fall in love again, and if I will be able to find someone like her is very terrifying. Um, but I try my best not to think of that because you never know with feelings. Like I never thought I would ever fall in love with a Chinese person, but I guess the thought process was I'm not discriminatory against Chinese people. And if there isn't a single interesting Hong Konger, but if there's an interesting Taiwanese girl, I would actually go for the freaking Taiwanese. Um, and then might as well go for a Chinese person, and that's like the extent of it all. Um, who knows? Maybe I'll finally fall in love with non-Asians next time. I don't know, but I would prefer it if it's Asian, honestly. Um, yeah. Um, I'm just really tired. Um, and yeah, hopefully next week I'll do something interesting. Monday, Tuesday, I think I'll be interviewing people with Tova. And then last night I didn't finish watching The Celebration, and I didn't watch any movie or TV show yesterday. I ended up spending a little time editing Succession intro, but for my film class, because of course. Um, yeah, but today I should finish editing the trailer for my short film. Once that's done, then all the editing for my short film is basically done, and I can start releasing them. Maybe I'll go back to making YouTube videos. I don't know. At some point, like, yeah, like at some point, I feel like I should do that. Um, uh, yeah, just trying my very best to stand up again and continue with life and everything. Uh, um, yeah. I called my mom yesterday, last night, for about half an hour, and again talked about USC admissions and also me moving. Next semester is going to be a bit of a transitional period, I guess. Yeah, you know, my life at USC. And it's gonna be an issue. A huge issue is in the Zoom meeting, the person said usually, even for transfer students, it takes about 2.5 years to 3 years to finish the degree after the transfer, and I'm expecting to finish it in 2 years, except because I'm staying in my college for half more year, I'm expecting to finish them all in 1.5 year, which is actually kind of impossible, I guess. So maybe I'll have to stay one more year in USC, which means that my total study is 6 years long, which is like my total study post secondary school is going to be 6 years long, which is absolutely fucking stupid. A 4 year program becomes a 6 year thing. So I don't know. Hopefully, I don't have to do that. Yeah. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. Yeah, fried rice, the shrimp.
I guess it's a night show.
The water show here. All right, time now is 8:46. Shoot, no water. Yeah, came back home at around an hour ago. Went to the bathroom, took a shower. My acne is back. Yay. And once again, I feel slightly better today. I feel a lot better today, actually. Sure, in the morning, I still feel a strong sense of melancholy and pain and emptiness. But I think I improved a lot. I think after the long talk with Potter, I think I figured out. I think, yeah, there's one terrifying way to look at things. You know what? Should I just talk now? Yeah, I probably should. Because I was just gonna like stop this video and then make a phone call to Tableau, and then have dinner. But you know what? I'll just talk now because. Yeah, you know, since my voice is kind of crisp. So I arrived at Century City at around 2:20. He arrived at around 2:30. We met up, and it was kind of awkward at first because I never really told him what really happened. But I saw him, and he's extremely chill. He's like, "Food?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I went to the food court and we walked around. We don't know what to get. At the end, we went with Panda Express because it's not bad. And he said that for the first time in 2 years, he finally felt the need to eat rice. So we had Panda Express, and that's when I told him everything. I told him, "Oh, I got something to tell you." And he's like, "It's about the girl, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I told him everything in Cantonese. Which I struggled a little bit at first because I haven't used it in so long, and I use it so sparingly. But I told him everything, and then he doesn't have a lot to say. He doesn't have a lot of advice because usually when that happens to him, which happened a couple times already, he would just smoke cigarettes and smoke weed. Like that's just how he deals with it. But obviously I can't use the same method because I'm not addicted to cigarettes and weed. But he said he understands that I need to I need to go outside. I need to find someone to talk to, because if I don't, I'm just gonna go down this hole. Like when Potter experienced something similar, you know, Potter he also, hung out with friends and smoked weed and sort of, forgot it all. And Potter even told me that a friend told him it'll pass. And he was thinking to himself that it will never pass. And it is the moment you realize that it will never pass that it truly passes. Which is a very beautiful way of putting things. So, I occasionally mention the girl here and there after the meal, and then we went to go get a drink. He got a matcha latte, I got his hibiscus tea, which is fine, and then we went to Sawtell together where he got himself a vape and more weed, and I've never been to a vape shop, nor have I been to a weed shop, and at some point he was like, I could just go back home now, or I could follow you to Sawtell, where do you want to go? Obviously, if I directly go home, then I would have nothing to do but then to sulk and be in pain again, so I was like, well, I don't know, do you want to go to Sawtell? So we ended up going to Sawtell together, and I entered the vape store, and it's like a little, what's the word? Not flaky, stingy, tingy. I forgot the word. A little weird, dangerous. But the cashier was like very uppity and like happy-go-lucky. And then there was this very fancy weed store called Herba, and I went in and I was like, wow, this place looks really fancy for no good reason. And to go in, I need to show my ID to make sure I'm 21, so I just told the woman at the reception, I'm like, I'm not 21 yet. And she's like, do you have a medical card? And I'm like, no. I can just wait outside. And she's like, yeah, I'm just wait outside. So I just waited outside. And I think I stood outside for like 10-15 minutes. I don't know how much time has passed. And then I walked back. So here I am. Solid adventure, solid meetup with Potter. We just talked, and that's pretty much all we needed. We went to the cinema to look at some movies, but I said I'm not in the mood to watch a movie in the cinema right now. So we just walked. We just kept walking and talking, and I'm mainly the speaker. I talked about how, I talked about Leslie a lot, obviously, but I would also spend a lot of time talking about just the nature of film and my film career, like my film future, me helping out with another USC thesis film, and then me going to USC and then hopefully getting OPT and then making a film here, making a film in Hong Kong, filming. I talked about how I am painting and how I'm writing poems, not painting, but like drawing, and for the most part, that's pretty much it. And I talked about how I've been doing research on Buddhism. It's a very academic conversation I had with Potter today. Like, I talked about Buddhism, I talked about Italian Baroque paintings, I talked about Dogma 95, because I mentioned The Celebration, the movie that I was watching a couple of days ago, and Dogma 95, the Danish film movement. And I just seem very freaking academic. And then he told me about his concerns, because he is beginning to feel very pessimistic about his future, and he recently FaceTimed an old friend, and the old friend is the same age as he is, because they both studied in the same secondary school or maybe same university. But essentially that old friend has a 1-month-old daughter right now, and that really shocked Potter. I'm sure it would shock me too if I learned news like that. I haven't even dated someone before, let alone marrying, let alone having a daughter. And of course my roommate comes back. Genius. And then he talked about how another person from the same year as he was in at school murdered someone and went to jail, and then another person is about to be a monk, become a Buddhist monk. So a lot of crazy shit. And then he said, all these people are going to jail, turning into a monk, having a daughter, and I am playing guitar and reading manga in my own bedroom. And he said, with an associate's degree in photography in some random community college, and then going back to Hong Kong, that means nothing. That's like, you can't do anything with that unless you find a very good internship. One of his professors told him that he should probably switch majors to interactional design because the college we're in provides bachelor's degree in interactional design at the CMD. And so he told me that last Thursday he actually went to CMD for the CMD showcase. So he was there actually when Michelle was there for the last time, and Leslie walked up to Michelle to ask her about me. When Rachel, the hidden Hong Konger, was there, Potter was actually there on the same day. Who would have thought? Who'd have thunk? Yeah, so there's that. No, not much else. Apparently, Potter and Pepper still keep in contact a lot. Potter and JT still keep in contact quite a bit, I guess. Apparently, JT's beginning to do driver's license shit. Pepper's too, but Pepper told Potter that Pepper can't tell left from right, which is really funny. And I'm like, oof, okay. But yeah, you know, shout out to Pepper, I guess. I don't know. I don't care about Pepper anymore, honestly. Yeah, I also told Potter that some of the lines in my short film is inspired by him, and he like cheered. He's like, yes, and he's usually very calm, so he really cheered. And then he's like, I also told him like, oh, it's like a short film catered to Hong Kongers. It's so full of like Hong Kong musical references and so full of Hong Kong locations, but then at the same time it's so plotless. It's so like timeless. Like there's no chronology in the short film. And he's like, bro, we're indie people. Don't judge that. Like we're indie people, like artsy people. But yeah, the more I tell Potter that, the more he seems interested in watching my short film. So yeah, at least like I'm satisfied. This is the first time I've ever been satisfied with my own short film. So that's that. And then yeah, not much else. His days have been boring, probably even more boring than mine, because at least I got USC thesis film to help out with. At least I got the Secret Film 33 documentary that I'm working with, the 33 doc. You know, at least I got a couple of those things going on. But Potter has been spending his days playing the guitar, and learning music, and learning that, you know, I told Potter about my situation, and Potter's like, yeah, maybe you just need to find a middle ground, because I feel like I either have no feelings for someone, like I can be friends with someone, but I will not even think about like a romantic relationship, or I'm obsessively in love with someone, like to an extreme degree, and I have no middle ground. And Leslie is someone that I should have a middle ground with. And Potter said it's like playing guitar. Some people don't pluck the strings hard enough. Sometimes they pluck them too hard. You just gotta find the sweet spot. Well, yeah, but I think the biggest revelation is Potter telling me that she doesn't even know what she wants. She's 18 and she's not ready. I think that's really the main point, is that she can't date me because she's not ready. Because she's so busy with everything, and she's so consumed with filmmaking and working. She has no time or passion for living. She's not ready yet. She's just not. And yeah, she is capable of intense love. Like, when she texted me how much she wants to fuck that other girl from China. Yeah, that's intense love. And I wish she has intense love for me, but she doesn't. But she does, to a degree, at some point, have feelings for me. That's fucking true. Let's be honest here. If she goes around and asks people about me, and then she tells me that she likes me 80%, she has some feelings for me. Let's be honest here. But maybe those feelings are gone, and it doesn't matter anymore. I just find it very poetic that it starts with a film and it ends with a film. It starts with Seven Samurai and ends with 2001: A Space Odyssey. It didn't actually start with Seven Samurai. I already fell in love with her like a little before. Actually, it's funny because like I keep a Google Doc of what happens every single day. It's like diary, but like synopsis in synopsis forms. And I wrote on March 23rd that I'm beginning to have feelings with Leslie. Like, I'm beginning to recognize that maybe I like her. And that's really the beginning of it all, but it really starts with Seven Samurai and ends with 2001: A Space Odyssey. Two great films to book start and bookend non-existent relationship. Really beautiful. And yeah, again, the terrifying thought is maybe I won't ever fall in love with someone ever again. Maybe I'll, or maybe I will fall in love, but it'll take years. I'll never find someone like her again. I'm broken by this relationship. But the good thought is we can still stay being friends. And Potter said it's still possible, like after you've moved on, like there's still a chance of staying friends. But yeah. Yeah, yeah. You know, so that's the good part. The good part is at least there's still somewhat of a future. But even if there isn't, it's okay. I'm happy I met her. You know, don't be sad because it's over, be happy because it happened. You know, that's the quote of all times, but it makes sense. Yeah, another thing is I kind of need to go to Ralph's, and I'm running out of everything in terms of food, and so maybe tomorrow I'll have to go to Ralph's. But that's el plan. Yes, so looking forward to tomorrow. Tova texted me while I waited for the bus to Century City and said, Leia confirmed for Monday, so let's go, boys. We are going to interview Leia on Monday, which is absolutely fucking insane. Spoke with Michelle quite a bit. Michelle went to Westminster Abbey. She went onto a cruise, and she told me how weird it feels to be American in London. She feels super out of place and feels super weird. I cannot relate. You can literally drop me off in any country and I will not experience culture shock, and I will somehow adapt and survive because it's so common for a Hong Konger to travel to a totally different country for vacation, like South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, and Thailand. But Americans never go outside of America, so Michelle was like kind of crazy about it. And also like the weather's different there, the date format is different, and Michelle was like scared. Michelle got lost at some point in the city, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Like, I want to get lost. I tried to get lost when I went to Japan in some bumfuck city in the countryside, in the rural part, and I kind of did get lost, but honestly, I had Google Map and I had mobile data. Like, at the end, I didn't get lost. It's not that difficult to get lost. It's not that easy to get lost. It's not that easy to get lost. Honestly, for me, like, again, you can just drop me in any country and then I'll somehow figure out a way. You know? I'm just adaptive like that, but Michelle isn't, obviously, because she's, at the end of the day, American. And that's pretty much everything for today. Spoke with Cliff a little bit. Liana and Ariel and perhaps a few other people are on the same film set today. That I did not go and I don't need to go. Yeah, that's that. Also received another email from IEC, double confirming that they have received my resume. So that's great. All right, time now is 11:43. I just finished dinner. Fuck. Yeah, nothing important. Just lettuce, salad, cheese tortellini, and pork and onions. Yeah, not a bad day. Calm and peaceful. I had a 1.5 hour long phone call with Retablo. Again, not gonna go into details. But he reassured me that it will pass. And part of me thinks, don't tell me that it will pass while I'm still passing it. It's like spoiling the ending. But that's kind of the point, is to tell me that there is an end to this tunnel. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah. And, again, it's almost framed like Leslie's this evil, manipulative monster. She is a monster, let's be real. But she isn't evil. Like, even after the editing bay incident, she still thought about it. She still cared to a degree. Like, she still invited me to Crystal's place to have dinner, even though I declined. A perfectly good opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. I should have said yes. That would have been like my final dinner with her. Yeah. Turns out my final meal with her would be like I think day 5. Or I think it was day 4 of the shoot. That was the final time I had a meal with her. Well, and also, to be optimistic, I'll say this. Even though this is extremely emotional, painful for me, I think I will move on faster. Like, I moved on from Mary for like 1.5 years, or like at least a whole year. And, this is even worse than Mary. Like, at least I and Mary's relationship didn't like go extremely sour. I would say I and Leslie's relationship did go sour. It's not like the worst of the worst, but it did go in strangely maddening ways. So this one hurts more. But the thing is, back in 2020 and 2021, it took me a long time to move on because I had no friends at that point and I was stuck in my room like the whole time. But circumstances have changed. Right now I have friends. Like, sure, I want to watch, I don't know, The Master in 70mm with Leslie. Like, that would be so romantic. But I guess not. So instead I'll watch it with Cliff. Oh yeah, Old Boy is coming to the cinemas. Well, if I can't watch it with Leslie, maybe I'll watch it with Cliff. If I can't watch it with Cliff, I'll watch it with Michelle. Because I'm sure none of them have seen Old Boy, and it's a fucking classic. So yeah, all the could'ves and the would'ves would be not easily, but would somehow be able to be replaced by someone else. So I would be able to move on a little faster, I think. And yeah, another thing is I don't know, I feel like even though like after the phone call I first thought that the whole, we need to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey thing is like I wish we don't, but now I feel like it's necessary. It's a necessary ending to the story. It has to end like this. Yeah, it has to end like this. And yeah, it's just it just has to end this way. Start off with a movie, ending with a movie. It's only logical. I don't know, and I want to end this off nice, like with mutual respect. Like, of course, she probably lost a lot of my respect. Because she treated me like shit. Not respect, but like, you know, faith. And I probably lost some of her faith because I acted so dramatic and flimsy. I don't know. Whatever the reasons are. But, you know, even though I don't think we'll ever be friends again, and I don't want to hold out hope that we would be friends again, if we stop talking after 2001 Space Odyssey and never see each other again for the rest of our lives, I am fine with it. Of course it hurts, but I am fine with it. I wish it doesn't have to go this way, but if it does, so be it. But I will tell her, like, it's okay, we can still be friends if you like, but I'll have to take a break. And of course, after that break is over, she'll probably not text me again. It'll basically be like a clean slate. It's almost like round 1, round 2 with me and Pepper, is that things were sort of sour by the end of round 1. Like, I and Pepper didn't really, like, we did get along, but it's like she doesn't care about me, and then in round 2, Pepper's suddenly super close with me. But then again, I don't want to think that way. I just would like to think that in round 4, it's basically a clean slate. I may run into Leslie and we'll say hi, but nothing further. Maybe she'll invite me to like a movie screening and I'll think about it, but if not, who gives a shit, right? Great way to end off our relationship. 2001 fucking A.